welcome into Texans Today, everybody. I'm your host, Jeremy Chuggs, and coming up on today's program, breaking down everything from the second training camp practice for your Houston Texans, plus some NFL news and notes to hit from today. Something that happened yesterday that I just wanted to break down because there's a former Texans player that retired recently, and I wanted to break it down on today's show. Before we get going, the bosses showed me, kind of nudged me a little bit. They were kind of razzing me up saying, oh yeah, no Texans videos this month have gotten 600 likes. All right. I know they didn't say I had to get it, but I kind of want to stick it to my boss and kind of, you always like to say, hey, look at how good I'm doing. Look how good the Texans channel is doing. So I know y'all rep. I know y'all already throw up the H's. So show them that you rep. Go down and like today's video so I can show my bosses and say, hey, what are we talking about 600 likes? I mean, come on. Texans fans, that's easy money. So get down and go hit that thumbs up icon. Now, the NFL news from today, the initial report, if you missed it this morning, Jets quarterback Justin Fields was carted off of practice. And that was what they initially just reported. Oh, he got carted off. Absolutely insane for that to be the report. And then it came back that his toe got stepped on. And he had an MRI, and they're getting more information as it goes on. But the fact that they just reported Justin Fields carted off is absolutely insane. And already the buzz, already all the rumors came out. Could the Jets trade for X? Could they go and get Kirk Cousins? Could they go and get this player, that player? It looks like he's going to be okay, just a precaution. But the initial reports, like I said, that they carted him off the field, I thought it was going to be much worse. So good news for the Jets. Really doesn't impact the Texans too much, other than the fact that they are also in the AFC. So obviously another team that we will be dealing with maybe come playoff time. Jordan Schultz also, this is from yesterday. The Saints signed former Colt safety Julian Blackmon to a one-year deal up to only $5.5 million. I thought that was kind of a steal for them. The reason why they made that move is because Tyrann Mathieu ended up retiring from the NFL. Now, that got me to thinking, I was really upset when the Texans didn't bring back Tyrann Mathieu. They had him for 1 year, signed him to a one-year deal, ended up then going to the Kansas City Chiefs after his time in Houston. I wish the Texans would have kept him. I mean, he ended up being an all-pro the next season after he left Houston with the Kansas City Chiefs, helped them reach that title, and I just think he would have been awesome if he would have stayed in H-Town. I want you to go in the comment section and name a player you wish the Texans would have kept, because what came to mind whenever I saw that, I was like, dang, I wish the Texans would have been able to keep Tyrann Mathieu. Another guy I wish the Texans would have been able to keep Brandon Brooks, the right guard, who ended up going with the Philadelphia Eagles and winning a Super Bowl with them in 2017. He was awesome on the offensive line, and obviously the Texans could have used his services for those years. Let me know down in the comment section, who's a player that you wish the Texans would have kept that ended up going on somewhere else? All right, let's get into the practice news and notes from today. Christian Harris still not practicing. As I said in my video yesterday, don't be too concerned. They're ramping him up. If he's not playing in the preseason games, if he's not practicing next week, then my concern will start getting higher and higher and higher. But the fact that they're like, hey, we're going to take it easy on him, I get it. You know, he was essentially out all last season. So trying to make sure he's 100% for week 1 up against the Rams. I'm perfectly okay with that. I just hope, he's able to ramp it up and get ready to go and play, that level, that brand of football that we love from Christian Harris in 2023. I hope he's able to get back to that this season. Another person not practicing, a little bit interesting, Damon Arnette not practicing today. He practiced yesterday, did not practice today. Nick Caserio actually, in his interview yesterday, press conference, kind of was like, yeah, we really like Damon Arnette. We want to give certain guys second chances who we think deserve it. And they believe Damon Arnette deserved that second chance. But him not practicing today, not that it's going to be a make or break, but I think he needs every single practice that he can get to show this team, to show this coaching staff that he belongs on the 53-man roster, because this DB room is stacked. And he's having to go up against guys like rookie Jalen Smith, who had a nice deflection today. You added Arthur Mollett the other day. Tremon Smith you signed in free agency. D'Angelo Ross was on the team last year. Miles Bryant you brought back from the team last year. So there's a lot of guys that he'll be battling for one of those final roster spots in the cornerback room. And speaking of the defensive backs, Jalen Pitre, maybe the play of the day, had a pick six up against C.J. Stroud. He has been all over the field, and D'Amico Ryans after practice today said, I absolutely love the way Jalen Pitre plays. He's a guy that I love having on this defense, somebody who has that swarm mentality, and I just am praying, I'm hoping that Jalen Pitre is healthy all year this year, because I think 17 games, if he's healthy, he's an all-pro caliber player, a Pro Bowler. He is somebody who is going to shock the league if he's able to stay healthy, because he is one of these, futuristic mixes of a linebacker, safety, cornerback. He does it all back there, plays that kind of nickel star role for this Texans defense, and I think Jalen Pitre is an absolute dog if he can stay healthy. Another guy getting high praise today, Solomon Byrd. Last year, 7th-round pick out of USC, only played, I think, a handful of games, had 2 tackles last year. Got a lot of praise today and was, kind of working multiple different offensive linemen throughout the day. Don't know if that's good news for Solomon Byrd or bad news for the offensive line, which we'll get to later on in the program, but just wanted to give him a shout-out because he has been showing out so far at training camp practice. Another guy who's been looking really great at practice, Jaylin Noel, the 3rd-round pick out of Iowa State. And I said it before, and I'll say it again. Getting Noel in the 3rd round was an absolute steal. I don't even know if the Texans were considering taking another wide receiver after they took Jaden Higgins at 34. But the fact that Noel fell into their lap was an absolute hidden gem steal. I mean, this dude, I thought he was going to go early in the 2nd round, and he ends up falling all the way to the Houston Texans. He's had a great connection with Davis Mills so far. He's been catching everything that's been coming his way. Also, the coaches have been saying Jaden Higgins, been getting a lot of practice after training camp practices on the Chuggs machine, which is exactly what you want to hear from your rookies. He has been showing out, and I can't wait to see what Jaden Higgins, and this receiving core look like in 2025. Now, another guy in the wide receiver room that getting a lot of reps, Braxton Berrios. This coming from Landry Locker. Pretty much everyone getting kick return reps, but Berrios is the first one to every special teams drill and the first one in line. Also, by far, the most comfortable and smoothest taking those kick return, punt returns. I mean, he might strictly find himself onto this team for being a kick return, punt return guy. And I don't know if the Texans keep 6 wide receivers. I don't know if the Texans keep 7, but he might force them to keep maybe an extra guy just for him to help out this special teams unit. Now, coming up, I mentioned the Texans' offensive line, and the offense as a whole kind of struggled today. And we'll break that down in just a moment. Before we do, though, if you want the best deal on the internet, I checked, and they still have a good amount in stock of these Texans hoodies. Was $69. Nice. Now, $27. All you got to do, go to chatsports.com/HOU massive sale, and all 3 of these colors are available in multiple sizes. Some sizes sold out. Get it while the getting's good because it's on clearance right now. I promise you, once it gets colder, these will not be on sale. So get it while you can at this moment. All you got to do, go to this link right here, chatsports.com/HOU massive sale. That link will be in the comment section and description of today's show. All right, let's look at the Texans offensive line formations today. First up, the first O-line was this. Ariante Ursery, Laken Tomlinson, Jake Andrews, Titus Howard, and Blake Fisher. I mean, Ariante Ursery getting those first reps at the left tackle spot, that's huge. The Texans, D'Amico Ryans, have said they absolutely love Ariante Ursery, and they love him at the left tackle spot because D'Amico was even asked right after they drafted him, they're like, oh, could you maybe move him in? Could you do this? Could you do that? And I think, with what D'Amico said, he was basically like, no, we drafted him to be a tackle, and that's what he's going to be. He's going to be a tackle for this team, either right tackle, left tackle. But the fact that he's getting first-team reps at that left tackle spot is absolutely huge. Laken Tomlinson, Titus Howard, they've been basically your starting guards throughout. But as we continue to see the flip-flopping at that center position, Jake Andrews, Jarrett Patterson keep on flipping those first-team reps. And then, obviously, Blake Fisher getting those right tackle duties right now with Ariante Ursery on the left side. You have Blake Fisher on the right side because Trent Brown, he's not ready yet. The second offensive line unit today, Cam Robinson at left tackle, Juice Scruggs at left guard. They've kind of given up on Scruggs being a center. Jarrett Patterson, as I mentioned, getting those first team and then second team reps, swapping out with Jake Andrews. Ed Ingram, who the Texans traded for from the Minnesota Vikings, is getting those backup right guard reps. And Zach Thomas is getting the right tackle reps with Trent Brown still being injured, not ready to go yet during training camp. Now, as I mentioned, it was a struggle today. C.J. Stroud was 1 for 2 and completed a pass to Nico Collins on the first series in team drills. Nick Chubb ran the ball with the first team, but the play was negated because, tell me if you've heard this before by the Texans offensive line, a false start. Another false start during training camp practice by Blake Fisher. But I do like this. He was immediately pulled. This team needs to be more disciplined this year. This team needs to take it serious with the offensive penalties because that held this offense back tremendously last year. And if they're going to play sloppy ball, if they're going to commit a ton of penalties, this offense won't be any better this year. So I like the fact that they're saying, hey, you need to be a professional. You need to step up and not false start, not commit penalties. And the fact that they pulled them immediately after that kind of shows that a little bit. Continuing on with DJ Bieniemy. Great reporting by him and Jonathan Alexander from Texans training camp practices so far. He kind of went play-by-play with what was going down with the, I think this was 11-on-11. Play 1, stuffed run with Nick Chubb. Play 2, Stroud misses Mechie. Incomplete. Pass was behind him. Pressure allowed by right tackle Blake Fisher versus Will Anderson. C.J. Stroud stepped up, throwing through it. Play 3, C.J. Stroud drops the snap, throws it high over the middle, and Jalen Pitre intercepted it for a pick 6. Play 4, short run with Dare Agumbawale. Not what you want to see from the Texans offense. And then it really didn't get any much better because he later tweeted, play 1, Nick Chubb, short run, stuffed. Play 2, QB C.J. Stroud, incompletion, left guard, got beat really bad. Not sure who was playing there. My guess maybe Juice Scruggs because he was with the second team unit right there. And then play 3, C.J. Stroud, sacked. The left side collapsed. Cam Robinson was in at left tackle. Not good. Not good. The defense absolutely dominated the offense today. But I will say, it's hard to gauge how well this offense is going to be doing because the Texans defense, I've said it and I'll say it again, I think they're easily a top 5 unit in the NFL. They could easily be the best defense in the NFL this year with all the talent they have across the board and D'Amico Ryans at the helm. And this offense is also installing their new scheme. You know, first-year offensive coordinator Nick Caley is still trying to get the guys on the same page, get the guys with what he wants to do. So kind of basing how we feel about the offense on how they do up against this Texans defense, it's a tough call because I want to be a little bit concerned, but at the same time, I'm like, this Texans defense is so good. This offense has so many moving parts. It's probably not going to look pretty the first couple of weeks in training camp. That's why we need to really focus on these joint practices that the Texans have this year and the preseason games as well. Because seeing this Texans offense against other competition will let me know how to feel. If they look really bad against other competition, yeah, I'm worried. I'm hitting the panic button. But if they look really good up against some of these training camp, joint practices, up against some of these teams in the preseason, then I'll kind of take a step back and be like, okay, maybe it's just the defense is that good, and we shouldn't be too worried about this Texans offense. Now, that's all I have for you on today's show, folks. If you want to hit me up on social media, my DMs, they're always open. You can hit me up on X at Jeremy Chuggs, TikTok at Jeremy Chuggs as well, and my IG is at Texans Today CS.